Welcome back. In this session, we will be dealing one of the most crucial part of the puzzle, like what exactly are the rules in using AI in medical research, whether you can use AI freely, whether there are any specific set of rules, or whether you have to follow any disclosures or guidelines regarding authorship or regarding accountability or transparency and so on. So these will be dealt in detail and they are interesting. Okay, so I'll explain each and every part in detail. Now, this was the picture in 2022 when ChatGPT was suddenly became world famous. Okay, when ChatGPT was released, it got its first 1 million users in the first 5 days. Okay, among these users, there were so many researchers, and they found the researchers they found it like a gold mine. Like it was able to create beautiful articles in the fraction of a time. Then it was creating so many references so that most of the journals they got flooded with so many articles. Okay, and as you have mentioned, as it's mentioned here, the most some of these authors, these researchers, they started citing ChatGPT as a co-author as well because most of the content was written purely by ChatGPT. Okay, now this led to something called epistemological crisis. Okay, so which was one of the term used by a leading journal. Now the issue here is there's something called accountability. Okay, when medical research, as far as medical research is concerned, we release so many interesting as well as controversial findings, right? Telling like this particular drug is useful for this particular medicine has this side effect and so on. Okay, so if you put some claim like this and telling like you have 1,000 participants, 1,000 sample size, and this particular result was having high amount of significance, so obviously others will start using the drug, right? And in case the drug is not effective or drug is causing an untoward side effect, then that person who created that article should be held responsible, right? Because the others started using it based on or inspired by this particular article, right? So obviously these are the two issues. One, suppose if the author is keeping AI as the co-author, then who will be held responsible? Whether the author is responsible, whether the creators of that AI will be responsible, or whether like nobody is responsible, like whether the journal who published it will be responsible. So all those will be a great issue, right? And this can also like hide a lot of mispractice, misconduct, errors, fraud related to publication and so on. So again, there should be a legal liability, right? So because of this, journals they decided to release a common statement in 2023. Okay, so this was released by Springer Nature, Taylor and Francis, Elsevier, JAMA. So all of them they started mentioning like ChatGPT cannot be your author or co-author. Okay, and ChatGPT do not satisfy the authorship criteria. So because of this, it has been a huge confusion in the research world whether the researcher should use AI or not. Okay, this was story in 2023. Now, then as time passed by, there was another set of researchers or reviewers who were seeing the other side of usage of AI. Okay, this is called equity. Okay, equity means like it's almost can be considered like a democracy. This is because a vast majority of journals that is in the medical research, they are mainly they are high impact journals and they are mainly published from English speaking countries. Okay, and those like researchers, they might be very serious researchers, but they might be coming from a non-native country or non-native English speakers. So their quality of writing may not be that great. Okay, but their quality of research might be excellent. But because of their lack of language control and all, they may be unable to create excellent article. And because of that, in their review process, the article might get rejected, even though the article contains valuable information. Okay, so by using an AI tool which can overcome this language barrier and create excellent write-ups out of these real findings made by these non-native speakers, okay, will be a huge boon for them, right? So this can lead to democratizing the access of in the scientific world. Okay, so that was a strong theory that came up in 2023 towards the late 2023. So based on that, the major journals, especially the Q1 and Q2 journals, they changed their policy. Okay, so you can see this was the policy in 2023 by Science, Nature, JAMA, and Elsevier. Okay, they changed their stance in 2024 and beyond. Okay, presently this is the present policy. So all of the journals are now accepting AI assisted articles. You can use AI, but the thing is like it's in the form of a regulated use. Like you should be openly disclose like that you have used AI. Okay, the transparency is mandatory. Okay, and whatever be the finding of the article in the AI disclosure, the author has to clearly mention like whatever the AI has written, that the human authors have verified, and human authors will be fully responsible for the entire content, not the AI. Okay, and certain journals are telling like you can definitely use AI, but AI is mainly for improving the language and readability. Okay, AI should not be used for the main drafting of the main manuscript. It can create a rough draft, and the human writer has to modify on that. The human researcher has to like cross check the authenticity, and the final manuscript should be written by human, bearing the full responsibility. Okay, so that's a present stand of most of the Q1 journals. Okay, now based on these concepts, two main bodies has arisen. Okay, it's called International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, and the other is called World Association of Medical Editors. Okay, so they are very famous bodies regarding as far as research is concerned, and they came up with a research policy. Okay, so both of them are telling like authors must disclose AI and affirm that human authors are the same thing. Okay, human authors are responsible for the accuracy and integrity of all the AI generated content. Okay, and they should also mention in detail the specific tool, version, and the prompt used. Okay, so that's the present guideline regarding AI use. You can definitely use AI, but you have to adhere to these conditions. Okay. Now, they have also subdivided AI usage into two categories. Okay, so category one is AI generated. As shown in the picture, AI is writing everything. Okay, AI is the primary creator, whereas AI assisted means AI is writing it, but a human is guiding it. So the primary creator is the human, but that human is using, he or she is using AI for editing the content, refining or structuring the human conceived ideas. Okay, so this particular aspect, that is AI assisted, is accepted, whereas AI generator is prohibited. Okay, now the main issue of use of AI is something called hallucination. I have discussed the hallucination in module 1, but I will repeat the whole concept. Hallucination means most of the AI tool doesn't have an intrinsic or doesn't have a built-in system to cross-check its authenticity. Okay, so sometimes AI will hallucinate in such a way that there is something called intrinsic hallucination, which means that there is a original document, which is document A, or document which contains information regarding drug A. Okay, then AI is using that information to write a new article. In that, it is telling like that new article is regarding another drug called drug B. Okay, but AI is depending on this particular article regarding drug A and telling like all the findings of drug A is applied to drug B, even though both are not related. Okay, which means that it misrepresents the fact with an existing reference. So it will show like there was a study by John et al. In 2024 regarding the original article was regarding drug A, but in an article that is newly written regarding drug B, they will tell like this John et al.'s article was regarding drug B, and it completely supports this claim, even though the original article was regarding drug A. Okay, that is called intrinsic hallucination. Now, extrinsic hallucination is different. AI actually refers to certain articles which doesn't exist. So it will tell like there is an article by Martin et al. In 2023 which says that drug B is excellent. Even though when you cross check, there won't be such an author named Martin et al. And there won't be any such article in 2023 published regarding drug B. Okay, so that is extrinsic hallucination. So both the set of hallucination are dangerous because a human author, when they see this particular write-up, and mostly AI will write an excellent tone with so much confidence and authenticity. So a human author, if they are not cross-checking the fact, they will feel like this is accurate. So they will falsely believe the whole writing, and they will like straight away send it for publication. So that's a huge mistake. Now, regarding the which all aspect of AI is completely accepted and which all parts are unacceptable, this is the main table. Okay, so according to the basic guidelines, AI can be used for grammar and spell checking, just like Grammarly or the PaperPal. we can paraphrase for clarity. Okay, so suppose or rephrase for clarity. Suppose if you are not a native English speaker, again you can use AI for improving the quality of writing. It can be used for brainstorming ideas or outlining the structure, just like we have done in PaperPal. It can summarize article, just like creating a conclusion statement, creating an abstract, creating the keywords. Okay, but this part is mainly that that aspect in which AI is acting like the primary writer. Okay, this is AI assisted, this is AI written. Okay, AI generated. So this is writing the entire literature review or discussion section. Okay, directly. So that is not accepted. But you can generate literature review or discussion, but that will be a draft, and you have to manually verify the claim and you have to manually modify it. Okay, so that is accepted. But directly using the same literature review or discussion directly and sending for publication is not accepted. Then generating new conclusions or scientific insight, even though in your result section you have our discussion section you have mentioned so many things, but in the conclusion AI is adding some extra things which are not already discussed or which are not revealed by that particular research. So if AI is adding its own new things or new conclusion, that is not accepted. Then creating fake data or references, again obviously we cannot when you ask AI to create a data set of 100 samples of this based on a particular questionnaire, it can easily create the fake data, right? But that's not at all useful for anyone, right? This is just a fake data. Similarly, references also can be AI can generate so many references based on hallucination. Again, that will also results in so many harm, right? So that's also not accepted. Then submitting any text without rigorous human revision, like suppose if you are telling AI to write an introduction, and in that AI is telling like prevalence of particular disease is this much according to WHO and all, but when you cross check, that particular prevalence will be completely different from what is the original number. Okay, like that, so many wrong information can be published in the research world if rigorous human revision is not there. So that rigorous human revision is also a mandatory requirement. Now comes the part of disclosure statement. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it is now mandatory that a disclosure statement should be there towards the end of the article, just the area where we put the acknowledgement and also the funding details and all. There a disclosure statement needs to be there, and it should mention these aspects. Okay. So suppose if you are using Gemini to create an outline, or you are using ChatGPT to doing some proofreading, so we need to mention the name of the tool, version like GPT-4 or Gemini 3 Pro, scope of use, whether what purpose it is being used for, editing the grammar or language polishing of the initial draft. Then you need to confirm your confirmation of oversight, that we should say like all the authors have reviewed, edited, and take full responsibility for the final content, so that if there is an error in that entire article, the authors will be held responsible rather than the AI tool. Okay, so that's the concept of AI disclosure, and this is a sample disclosure. Sorry, the author used ChatGPT-4 to improve the language and readability of the manuscript. All AI-generated text was critically reviewed and edited and verified by the human authors, who take full responsibility for the final content. So this is a sample disclosure statement. Certain journals have their own specific style of disclosure statement, which is almost in the same line. Okay, so when we discuss PaperPal, I have shown you some samples. So this is the different types, different varieties of disclosure statement. Then what are the risk of non-disclosure? Suppose if you have used AI, but you think like you may not be the reviewers won't be catching you, so you are not disclosing it. Okay, so failing for putting a disclosure is considered like a scientific misconduct. Journals use AI detection tools. So I'll be showing you what exactly this AI detection tool to screen the submission. Okay, so AI detection tools are those which can automatically detect the AI written words. Whenever AI is writing something for you, it automatically leaves behind a watermark. Okay, and just like plagiarism detectors, there are tools out there which can automatically detect which all lines are written with AI and which all lines are human written. It can clearly show that and clearly highlight that. Okay, so journal editors or journal reviewers can clearly identify which all articles are written with AI and how much percentage of AI watermark is there. Okay, now the consequence of being discovered by after non-disclosing it, and later on it is discovered by a by using an AI detector is, one is immediate rejection of the manuscript. Like we are presently, the manuscript might be in the there are multiple stages of processing, right? So in the middle of the processing, it might result in rejection of the manuscript. Then there can be an investigation of academic misconduct. Suppose if it's a very prominent journal and the journal or editors are sending a letter to your university telling like there's an academic misconduct has happened. And so suppose if the article is already published, retraction of the paper can happen if it is discovered post publication. Okay, so these are some of the risks of non-disclosures, but disclosure is completely fine. You can presently, as per the rules that released by the various journals after 2024, it is completely fine to use AI, and it's time to use AI because AI will drastically improve your quality of research. But the thing is, like, you have to follow the rules. So that's the rule regarding AI usage. Now there are some uncrossable lines. Even in if you are using AI, you should not use AI in any way in these two situations. Okay, so one is you should not list AI as a author or co-author, and responsibility should be completely for human, not for AI. Secondly, suppose if you are a peer reviewer of an article, okay, you are a reviewer and you have been sent an article written by someone else, by the journal editor, then you should not use AI to like do the review of that particular article. Okay, you have to do the manual review. This is because usually you will be you will be attaching that article to the AI, and that article will be gone into AI database, right? And sometimes this article may be used for training purposes and so on, and it can be stored indefinitely. This is actually a huge breach of confidentiality, and in the research world, confidentiality is paramount. So you should never use AI for peer reviewing purposes. Okay, for peer reviewing others' articles. Then comes the scenario of what exactly is this AI detection and what is this AI detection scores. Okay. So you will be definitely familiar with plagiarism, right? And there is something called plagiarism and there is something called similarity score. Even though we use both the terms synonymously, I have explained this in the plagiarism part, but I will explain it once again. So similarity means this is actually what we meant by plagiarism is actual similarity. Okay, plagiarism means you are directly using certain words from a journal and you are not citing the reference. Okay, in that case you are stealing words or sentences from another journal, right? So that is actually considered like a very bad thing. Okay, plagiarism is almost considered like stealing. Whereas similarity means you are actually copying sentences from another article, either fully or partially, and you are putting references. Like you are giving the credit to the person, but you are directly using those phrases or complete sentences. So that is similarity. So basically, similarity means copied sentences, right? And we use tools like Turnitin or Authenticate, PaperPal, etc., to identify such plagiarism, and you have to manually rewrite it, right? On the other hand, AI score is completely different. It's not at all related to plagiarism. This is something unique. Now, when AI is writing, as I mentioned, when AI is writing something for you, that entire sentence has some certain features. Okay, one is called perplexity, the other is called burstiness. Okay, perplexity means suppose if AI is writing, I will be explaining in the coming sentence. Then I will explain perplexity with an example in the coming slide, so you will get an idea. Now, regarding AI score, when AI is writing for you for this particular, say, introduction or review is written by AI, obviously those entire paragraphs will have AI watermark, so it will be showing us 100%. Okay. On the other hand, when AI is writing something for you, it doesn't do that much plagiarism. Suppose if it is referring to certain published existing journals for writing that particular introduction for you, it will be rewriting it completely, so that that plagiarism or similarity will be below 10%, and most of the time it will be below 5%. Whereas the writing part follows that typical AI style, AI watermark. So obviously, even though similarity score or plagiarism score is very low, AI score will be really high. Okay, so that's the difference between the two that I will explain perplexity and burstiness soon. Now, these are two common AI content detectors. Okay, so these are the tools used by different journals. So one is called GPT-0, the other is called Zero GPT. Okay, and in addition to that, Turnitin is also equally efficient for detecting AI content score in addition to similarity score. Okay, so let me show you one article. So this is written with ChatGPT. So this was one manuscript that we have used for module number 5, I think, regarding writing a protocol. Okay. So I copied these two paragraphs. These are two random paragraphs in that. And I went to GPT-0, okay, which is one of the most popular AI detection tool. I pasted those paragraphs and clicked on scan. and instantly it was able to detect like entire paragraph was written by AI. Even though similarity score was nothing, it was completely zero. It was completely unique. There was without any plagiarism. AI watermark was completely there. Okay, so it is telling like it is 95% AI generated. Okay, so that's the power of this AI tool. They can accurately detect which all lines are written with AI and which all lines are humanly written. Okay. Now let me tell you the cutoff. Okay, even though it's telling in my example that I was shown, even though it's showing 95 percentage, this 95 percentage doesn't show like 95% of the text is AI. It is telling like the tool is having 95% confidence that the entire paragraph is written with AI. Okay, so it's slightly different. Like if you are checking for plagiarism, in Turnitin, it will show like say this particular text has 15% plagiarism, which means that 15% of the text is having is similar, right? But on the other hand, AI the content detectors, they cannot tell you the answer, tell you the score with 100% certainty. Okay, so whatever percentage it shows is a confidence. It's not the total percentage. Okay. And another thing is like regarding the cutoff. Okay, so basically the a rough cutoff that is being set in by most of the journals is 30%. So your article you have written can have up to 30% of AI watermark, and rest of the things you have to manually rewrite. Okay, within this there is a small important thing, not small, it's an important thing. Suppose if the AI watermark, if they scan your article and they find that AI watermark is primarily there in the result section, then this is considered as a big issue. It's like it clearly show like your results are fake, because compared to other area, majority of the AI watermark is there in the result section. Okay, and in an article, result section is the most crucial part, right? So we have to manually write the result section. If they find like even if the percentage of AI watermark is comparatively lesser than 30%, but it is majority of that is concentrated in the results area, then there's a chance that article might get rejected. On the other hand, if the article, if the AI watermark is more in the introduction section or in the discussion section on the review literature, that is comparatively fine. Okay, if it's less than 30%, but ensure like you are writing the results manually, or even if AI is writing the results for you, you have to manually rewrite the entire sentences. Now, to overcome the AI detection, now there are a set of tools called AI humanizers. So how this AI humanizers work is like I mentioned earlier, it's like AI written text and human written text have two very unique features. One is called perplexity and the other is called burstiness. Okay, perplexity, let me show you. I think it's after this, so let me show you. Okay, so this is perplexity. Okay, so perplexity means whenever AI is writing something for you, it usually use some common AI words or common. It's like whenever these AI detectors are checking for AI watermark, they are not scanning the article and comparing it to a database. They are actually using some statistical test. Okay, and to see how much probability is there for having these particular words in this particular paragraph. Okay, and AI has a temptation like they use some common words recurrently, the words like nevertheless, delve, so many such words will be used recurrently, and these watermark, these AI content detectors, they usually check for these words. Okay, on the other hand, when a human is writing the article, they never use that like those common words regularly. They will write with uh, so much unpredictable nature. Okay, this is an example. Say if AI is writing something regarding exercise, it will write like regular exercise improves health and reduce the risk of chronic disease. Okay, so this is like a low perplexity with doesn't have that much like variety there. Okay, but a human is writing the same thing. The human might write like even a brisk 20-minute walk most days can quietly stack the odds in your favor. Better sleep, steadier moods, and fewer lifestyle driven illnesses down the road. Okay, so you can see like the like use of dynamic words, use of variation is more in this type of sentences, right? So this will be counted less. When you scan both the sentences, this might be counted like an AI written sentence, whereas this won't be counted like an AI written because there is so much variation there. Okay, so that's the perplexity. Now comes the burstiness part. Burstiness is a if perplexity is related to use of words, burstiness is related to the sentences. Okay, usually when AI is writing something, it will follow a common pattern. It will be like in a monotonous tone. There won't be any punchy part. Okay, and the length of the sentences will be uniform and so on. Okay, whereas when human is writing, it won't be that uniform nature. It will be like high burstiness or a human rhythm will be there. Like there will be some random long sentences, sudden short sentences, and so on. So here is an example. So AI written text is like exercise improves physical health. It also supports mental well-being. It reduces the risk of chronic diseases. Whereas when human is writing it, it will be like exercise helps, no doubt. But the real magic is how many system it nudges at once: mood, sleep, stamina, and even long-term heart disease. So you can see how the sentence is structured, right? Right. So there is huge amount of variation in the sentence structure. So that is called burstiness. Okay. So let me come back to the previous slide. So when AI detectors, AI humanizers are there, these tools, what they do is when you give some AI written content to these humanizers, they will try to add these two features like perplexity and burstiness artificially into the sentence, and will try to make the sentence look like it is human written. Okay, so this is one of the most popular AI humanizing tool. It's called humanizeai.com. So which can do the same effectively. But if you are using a humanizing tool, say you have written the entire article with AI, and then you are loading that article to a AI humanizer tool, the problem is, one, it is loss of precision. Okay, because the AI humanizer tool, they try to add the variability to the sentences. It won't be giving that much importance to the meaning or the like the academic tone or anything. So suppose if you are writing like humanizer, like say in your article, it's a clinical article. Okay, so in that you have mentioned the term myocardial infarction. Okay, but when you give this particular paragraph with this word myocardial infarction, automatically this will try to humanize it by changing that word into heart tissue. Okay, so the detector might get fooled, but the thing is like the context completely changes, right? That importance of that article or the academic tone of the article automatically changes if you use the word heart tissue rather than myocardial infarction. So that's the main issue regarding a humanizer. Second is it's an intentional deception, right? According to, as I mentioned in the beginning part, as I specifically mentioned, like we will be responsible for whatever we write in our name for in a write and publish in an article. And suppose if you are telling like and we are supposed to cross check everything and manually rewrite it, right? Suppose if you want to save some time and we are making AI to write everything, then use a humanizer to just deceive the detectors. This is actually a violation of transparency, right? So it's like ethically this is not accurate. So it's always better to, you can definitely use AI, but always we should ensure like we won't be using a humanizer to humanize the entire content. Rather than that, we should be manually rewriting it after verifying the authenticity of each and every sentence. So that's a more ethical like approach rather than having a intentional deception approach. Okay. Third is again like a abdication of the accountability. So we are twice removed. The author is twice removed from the text. Okay, first by the AI, like instead of a human an author writing the sentence, first the initial draft is written by an AI. Then we are loading it to another AI which act like a humanizer. Again, even without an author intervention, this is again rewritten by an by AI. Okay, so entire article is rewritten by AI twice. This is almost like that Chinese whisper. Like after each like involvement by with the AI, the quality of content completely changes, or the meaning of the content completely changes, and the final output will be completely different from what you initially thought about, right? So again, that actually affects the quality of work, right? So because of this, most of the journals, and most of the international bodies, they recommend not to use a AI humanizer. They are recommending you can definitely use AI, but you should be more ethical and you should verify the facts and you should rewrite it manually. Okay. And here are the steps on how you can do this entire process using AI in an ethical manner. So once you create an outline or once you create the initial draft with AI, you should like verify the entire fact. Okay. So because you are 100% responsible for every claim, every reference, every claim, every prevalence that you quote. So you are completely responsible. So you have to manually verify every single reference. If there are 31 references, you are supposed to manually verify the authenticity of all the 31 references. Check the DOA number, author names, and quoted text against the original source. Okay, and in addition to that, if it's telling like these are the values taken by this particular from this particular source, you have to cross check that the value is also accurate. Okay, so that's the first part, that is verification. Second part is using AI in the safe zone. Safe zone means you are using AI for brainstorming research question, outline the manuscript, summarizing the known literature for background, which can be verified, or simplifying the complex concept for initial understanding. Or you can even use AI for like writing the first draft. Okay. Now the first draft is the official term for the first draft is called zero draft. Okay. So it's like creating a sculpture out of a stone. So AI will create the stone for you. It's your job to convert it into a beautiful sculpture, right? Why it's called zero draft? Because you don't know the authenticity of the article, right? Whatever that is written with AI. So you cannot consider, they are telling like you cannot consider like this like a first draft. So this is like a zero draft which you can work on to convert into a first draft. Then you can polish it into a manuscript. Okay, so that's why they are telling you not to use this AI written content, irrespective of the which AI is creating it to you, directly as a final draft. This should be like an initial stone which you can work on, right? And then we change that perplexity. This I have already discussed. So next part is changing the perplexity, that you are manually rewriting it. So you are ensuring like you are using rather than the AI written words, you will be writing in your own sentences with high perplexity, high variability, right? And in addition to that, you should also bring back the rhythm in that. Okay, so the rhythm is the burstiness. Like instead of monotonous sentences, you will be writing in your own sentences with that level of burstiness, right? So that's also a vital part. And finally, the final transformation. So it's like whenever AI is writing something for you, it won't have that human touch, right? So you should inject nuances, you should challenge the assumptions written by it, and you should infuse your own voice. So that's actually like giving life to your article by that human touch. So that's been termed like cognitive injection. Like you are actually adding a part of your writing style into that particular article, so that article really gets a life rather than it is created by an AI. Okay, so that's a part. And finally, this is an author's pledge for ethical use of AI in research. So you should be accountable. So you should have this checklist. So regarding accountability, you should check like, am I prepared to defend every word and claim as my own intellectual work? Then comes a verification part. Has every AI generated fact and figure and reference been manually verified against original sources? Then checking the originality. Have I substantially rewritten all AI generated text to infuse my expert voice and critical analysis? And finally, the AI disclosure. Have I included a clear statement in the methods or acknowledgements section detailing the AI tool, version, purpose as per the journal guidelines? So these are the 4 checklists that you should be keeping in mind before sending the article, the final draft for publication. Okay, and this is the final takeaway message. Like I always used to quote this example in my AI session. Nowadays it's a time to embrace AI. We can definitely use AI for research. There is no doubt about it. The future is definitely future of authorship is definitely AI assisted, human driven research. Okay, it's not human. It's not human. Human alone. It's actually AI is also part of the puzzle. But thing is like it's AI assisted rather than AI written. Okay, and but driven by human. Okay, and you can consider the use of AI as a use of a calculator. Like when we were smaller, that was a time when all the calculators were introduced in the curriculum. So most of the max teachers, especially in the primary levels, primary grades, they feared like when calculators were introduced, naturally this will affect the arithmetic capacity of the little kids, young children, right? But as you know, and they even had so many revolts also, right? But what happened is like that particular calculators were introduced in the curriculum. We were allowed to use calculators when we were in the low school levels, but it didn't affect our arithmetic skills, right? But we know to do all our basic mathematics. But when it comes to complex calculation, like you want to get a multiplication between 2 4-digit numbers, you will definitely use a calculator so that you will get instant results rather than doing it manually, and the results will be accurate as well. So this will save your time and save your efficiency. but your skills are not affected, right? So AI is also like that. These are some technology that will help you to bring out the best in you, fill out all your like incompetencies or your negative issues. Like say you have grammatical issues when writing, you don't have that much, you have the writer's block. So all those issues will be rectified by using AI. But AI should be used like a calculator. It should not be used like a replacement for a human. These are tools which help us to improve the quality of our research and to bring out the best in ourselves, right? So that's the final take. Use the tools, use these AI tools, but don't let the AI tools use you. Okay. So that should be the parting sentence. So thank you so much for the patient listening once again. So I'm sure that this particular session was really useful for you. I will be adding one more session after this, which will be like a summary video in which I will be consolidating all the tools that we have learned in the past 8 modules, so that you will get a clear cut idea regarding which all tools can be used for which all purposes. Okay. So thank you once again.